Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Fear the Queer.
A show that talks about everything on our queer agendas. I am Kyle.
And I'm Josh, and this is our comeback.
Well, I got it. No.
Yeah.
Well, I got it. No, yeah, we're back.
Could you do that a little bit more excited,
A
Valerie?
little bit. We're back. Okay. No, I sound like a crazy person. No,
Jane, we can't use it.
Just we can't use it. Yeah, but we're back.
We're back.
After a bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a way. What were we doing? We were enjoying the summer. We were lazy. We were overwhelmed. And now we're back. But so much has happened, and we're very excited to get into it. We are going to do a little bit of an Untucked episode.
Yeah, you just really need to rip off the duct tape here.
Just take off the duct tape, unravel the bubble gum, and blow that bubble, bitch. But we are going to be talking about all of the drag happening in the lexicon that is our society. We just had Drag Race All-Star 6. The Boulet Brothers Dragula cast was just announced. Canada's Drag Race. There's UK. Just a lot of drag. UK. So much is happening. So we're going to do a little bit of an Untucked, talking about our thoughts on all of these new shows coming up, and also what we thought about the All-Star 6 finale.
Yes.
But before we begin, Josh, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I will say, because it is our 16th comeback episode, I was like, ooh, I'm going to be a little rusty for this one here. I do have my trusty water bottle sitting on my little perch here, but
Same.
This is right. This is funny because this actually reminds me of all the memes that we make fun of with you. I'm actually drinking a Monster Energy drink right now. For Kyle.
For Kyle. I felt like Monster Energy drinks are only for those named Kyle.
Well, I'm drinking it in your honor. How about that?
Thank you. Oh, I love that. You know what? Anything done in my honor, I'm good with. Yeah. Well, good. Well, you know what? Good for you. Saying that better than Olivia.
Ooh.
Well, the VMAs, sis.
Oh, I know, girl.
We need to work on breath control. As someone who was in chamber choir for 1 year, I know singing. 13 years ago, I know how to hit one note. Ooh. Well, a Monster Energy drink for Josh and Kyle's honor. Well, you know me, Mama got her Starbies. I got my Trenta Starbies.
Oh wow, it's like pure black.
It's pure black. There are 2 Splendas in there. And I have to take a moment. Can I take a moment? Can I hold some space?
It's our show.
I'm going to hold some space. For years, I was chastised about using Splenda because it gave me cancer. That's what I was told by literally everyone. Yet it was the same people who were telling me that it was giving me cancer that were smoking the cigarettes.
Oh, good call out.
And all I have to say is I'm still drinking the Splenda.
Yeah.
And I'm still eating at McDonald's. And you know what? Knock on wood, clunk, clunk, clunk. No cancer yet. No cancer yet.
So. Testicles are still intact. That's what we love.
Well, and you know what? That is something that Nicki Minaj is very concerned about. Is her cousin in Trinidad's testicles, because evidently they became enlarged because of the vaccine. So I'm gonna get a second dose. Or a third dose rather at this point, because I'm fully vaccinated. So 3rd dose coming up. Get ready for big balls.
I was gonna say, I don't understand what the big concern is. Who doesn't love a giant set of balls? Let's be real.
I mean,
let's backtrack here really quickly.
Yeah. Ooh.
I was gonna say, for those of you who are so confused at what we're talking about here, a quick can you keep up is that the Met Gala was on Monday. Nicki Minaj tweeted how she's not coming because they have to be vaccinated for the event, and she wants to do her own research before she gets fully vaccinated, because Nicki Minaj, the scientist, is really cautious about all of the Delta, Gamma, Beta variants that are out there. Another concern that she has is that, one, apparently she got COVID, and then Drake also got COVID, but Drake was fully vaccinated. So how did they both get COVID if one of them's only vaccinated? And then finally, as Kyle mentioned, her cousin's friend in Trinidad got the vaccine, and then their testicles became rather swollen. So let's all just take a moment of silence for Nicki Minaj's brother's friend in Trinidad.
Okay. That's enough silence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just cheers queers to
Hey,
big balls.
big balls and untucking drag. Cheers,
Cheers, queers.
queers. Clink, clink. All right. But before we get into the heart of our gay agenda, we just did a typical Can You Keep Up, in which we try to discuss any of the hot topics that are happening in the news and media today. But we're actually going to do a different version of Can You Keep Up, in which we are talking about our personal lives, because a lot has happened since, when was the last episode we had? Like June, I think? I don't know.
I think it was like 3 years ago at this point.
Right. This is actually a brand new podcast.
Oh yeah, like honestly, last thing I remember talking about was like gay Vespas. No, I'm sorry, bisexual Vespas.
Mhm.
We had a bisexual Vespa summer.
Did you have I was gonna say, did you fulfill your bisexual Vespa fantasy?
No, but I don't know if it's just because I am looking for it now, but I see Vespas everywhere in the city now. And
ahead of the culture.
Ahead of the culture, or just more aware? Both, maybe.
But yeah, maybe.
So yeah, we're doing a little personal Can You Keep Up to catch up. And Josh, I'm gonna have you go first. I'm a new woman. I've changed. Summer has brought a lot out of me, and
all the STDs are on the surface now.
Well, a little Can You Keep Up with me? I went to the doctor recently just for like a checkup or whatever.
Sorry.
And
I love how you're just like, I could tell you were insinuating, I'll let you go first. Like, I'm a new woman. Actually, I have something to say really quick.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, this is just like, it clicked. But speaking of STDs, I was at the doctor recently for a checkup, and the doctor was like, we'll get some blood drawn. Everything seems fine. Blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, oh, do you want to do like an STI test? And I was like, nothing's been happening because of the pandemic. So it would come up back negative anyways. And she was like, okay, well, so the blood work
needed a yes or no.
Yeah, it was very that. I was like, well, it's a no for me, dog. Anyways, go ahead. I guess I'm not that changed of a woman. So Josh, what is your Can You Keep Up?
I love the plot twist of like, if for whatever reason I actually did come back, she's like, actually you have 3. I don't know how.
I'm like, it's all those dirty public seats. I don't know. It's probably from taking the bus. It's like that time that I took the bus and I got scabies. And the doctor was like, well, when was your last sexual? When was your last sexual? Your last sexual encounter. And I was like, and she was like, if you have to think about it, it's not that. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, then she was, do you ride public transit? Right. She was like, do you ride public transit? I was like, I do. And she was like, you probably got scabies from public transit. So
that is so sad and scary.
It was so sad and scary. And anyways.
Yeah. So anyways,
what's going on in your life, hon?
Yeah. Well, since our break, actually throughout the past 2 years, people at the podcast I've talked about my boyfriend and shared experiences and blah blah blah. Well, he is no longer my boyfriend because he is my fiance.
I saw what you did there.
Yeah. AJ and I got engaged on July 24th, something that Kyle actually knew about a while before I did. So let me just break down the story time here for you guys. July 24th was technically our 2.5-year anniversary, and AJ and I's first date was at the Music Box. And so for our anniversary, he was just like, oh, let's go see a movie at Music Box. It'll be cute. I think they're showing Aliens there, and everyone knows I love Alien. I'm like, hell yeah, sign me the fuck up. And he's just like, but I want to go somewhere afterwards with a photo booth. So get dressed up for that. I was like, a photo booth? Okay. Like, I'm down for this.
He really got you.
Yeah. I was like, I'm down for this 2.5-year anniversary date here. So we get all goozied up. I have my best cologne on. I have my nice shoes on. We get to the theater, and a friend of the pod Matt Sapola was there, who works at the Music Box now. Oh, did I really get you with Goozied?
Well, because it's gussied.
Well, whatever. I don't care.
We got all goozied up.
I got monster energy flowing in my veins right now.
God, we got all goods. I like that. You go, we got all goozied up. And then I start laughing. You're like, yeah.
Things.
And then you're like, yeah, goozied. And I was like, amazing. Amazing. New merch coming. We got all goozied.
Goozied.
Anyways.
Anyone who knows me knows I cannot pronounce shit. Anyway, so we get inside and Matt Sapola is at the counter, and we've worked with them at Landmark for like years at this point here. And I go up to them and I say, hi, like, it's so nice to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. We're catching up, which gets me even more distracted with what's going on here, because AJ then just kind of pulls me away into the theater as the lights are going out. I was like, oh shit, the movie started. I'll talk to you afterwards. No big deal. So we sit down, and then all of a sudden this like cute little video shows up and AJ's on the screen. I was like, oh my God, is this like an anniversary shout out from the Music Box? That's really sweet. Like, I didn't know they did stuff like that. And then the video just kept going. And then all of a sudden, all these cameos from the RuPaul girls, who was on there? Like Widow Von Du, Tatiana, Shangela, like all these girls are popping up. And I was just like, this is a big present. Like, and why is this playing at a movie theater? Because there were so many people in there. What's going on? And then all of a sudden my parents showed up on the video. And then I was just like, oh fuck, this is not an anniversary video. This is something bigger here. So I'm bawling my eyes out at this point here. The curtains rise up, and then the lights come up, and then I get pulled out on stage by AJ. And I realized I was surrounded by all these people. These are all the fucking people in my life. It was Kyle, it was friend of the pod Jill, it was my family was there from Iowa. And so he pulled me up on stage, he got down on one knee, and he proposed. Now, originally the ring was actually about 3 sizes too big, so it fell off my finger. Actually.
It was a beautiful bangle.
Yeah. It was a lovely choker necklace.
It was an engagement bangle choker necklace. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, it was crazy. Everyone in my life was involved with it. Kyle made a video for the engagement video. Friend of the pod, Jill, did. And then immediately we went after to a building right next to us to have an engagement party afterwards. I was overwhelmed and so caught off guard. I couldn't believe a word that was coming out of anyone's mouth about all of this. And yeah, and here I am, engaged, drinking a Monster Energy because I'm still a little bit overwhelmed by it all.
That's completely fair. It was so funny because like you you had said to me that I was like a good liar because I had like lied about something that you clocked. Not like a bad lie. I was just like rolling with something. And you were like, "Oh, you're really good at lying." And I was like, "You have no idea."
Yeah.
Because I've known about this for a while.
I said it I think I said to him like a couple days before like we went to the Music Box. I told Kyle, I was just like, "You're a good liar."
And I was like, "Yeah, I am." So I guess the moral of the story is, if you need me to lie, I can do it.
Kyle will do it. Kyle will kill someone for you.
I know where the bodies are buried. Yeah. It was super fun. And the Flacco's Tacos, who catered the event, not sponsored, delish. My favorite, I just have like it was obviously all very beautiful. Your parents and sisters were super sweet. Like they were like the perfect, like sweet parents. I loved it. But my favorite part, and it was beautiful and, you know, tears and everything. So friend of the pod, Jill, had these really nice cookies, like spent just a lot of time and energy and everything to get these cookies made up that said like Josh Hart AJ and fiance spelled on these custom cookies. And the fiance was going to be spelled out like Beyonce, but with a F-E. So like fiance, Beyonce, because, you know, you love Beyonce. Mm-hmm. So I woke up that day and for whatever reason, I wasn't even the one being proposed to, but I was stressed. And I woke up and Jill, I wake up to like all these missed calls, all these missed FaceTime calls from Jill. And I'm like, oh my God, something bad happened. I call her back. She's like, "Hi, I'm getting ready," which I'm just picturing like Jill like walking around in a silk robe holding like a smart water just like in her
She's
apartment.
getting
She's like,
all
I'm getting
goozied up.
ready. Yeah, she's getting goozied.
Yeah.
And she explains that she gets to the cookie decorating place and the Josh Hart AJ cookies, fantastic. They look beautiful. But the
And
fiance
delicious.
cookies, and they were super good. But the fiance cookies did not say fiance. They said seance. And she she's like having a mini meltdown, and she's like, Kyle, I don't know what to do. What do I do with these cookies? I have a bunch of them now. And I go, well, did you get some that did they fix the problem? She goes, yeah, they made fiance cookies, like fiance cookies. And I said, okay, well, that's the good part. Well, what do I do with the seance cookies? I go, I think you should bring them. So she brought them because I was like, AJ and Josh, knowing that you guys like spooky stuff and you have a sense of humor, you'll get a kick out of these seance cookies at an engagement party. So AJ's friend Mike came over to like tell Jill like, hey, I'm gonna let people know that we're putting out these cookies and just giving them a heads up. Thank you for bringing them. And Jill's like, thank you. And so Mike goes to the front of the room and says, can I have your attention, please? Can I have everyone's attention? You know, everyone turns their heads and Mike's like, I just want to say thank you all for coming. And Jill Conkle, and he like motions to the far corner of the room where we were sitting. And Jill kind of does a hello, kind of like over here. Jill Conkle brought in these lovely cookies that we're going to put out now for the dessert. Some say Josh Hart AJ and some say fiance, but spelled like Beyonce. And of course, you know, it's a room full of Midwest people. So everyone kind of goes, oh. And then Mike goes, yes. And also there are seance cookies. So we're putting those out too. All right, well, everyone enjoy. And then everyone clapped.
Yeah.
I loved that. It was like out of a movie or something. It was so funny to me, like just a room full of people clapping over seance cookies. It is still top 10 favorite moments of my 2021 year. It was so funny
Jill
to
just
me.
like sitting here like, yeah, that's right.
yeah. It was amazing. Flaco Taco in hand. Like amazing. It was it was such a fun time.
It was. And to be honest, like immediately when I saw seance, I immediately was just like I thought of seance because like Jill and I have played with the Ouija board before. So I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. And then I also, for whatever reason, like in my dumb brain, I mean, I just said goozied up, like it's full confidently.
I love that.
Like,
we have to figure out how to spell that goozied because I'm serious. We'll make t-shirts.
Right. So when I saw seance for whatever reason, I was just like, oh, like he said yes. I was like, oh, that's so cute too. I don't know.
Oh, like say yes, seance, say
seance. I don't know. Either way, it was an iconic cookie.
It was an iconic cookie. The seance cookie. It was a moment. I loved it.
It was a moment. Yes, it was a highlight of this bleak 2021 was my seance cookies at my engagement party.
Not the same. God, it was so funny. Oh my goodness.
No, thanks.
It was great.
Shout out to Jill, friend of the pod. We appreciate it so much. All right.
It was amazing.
Now we get on to your big news, ma'am.
Well, I guess keeping with the theme of untucking drag and just kind of like, you know, going through and de-dragging the drag world, I, Adele Weiss, had my first live show the other week. So that happened for me. And it was very
a long
fun.
time coming.
It was a long time coming, which is usually like what I kind of like. But in this case, I have been kind of like, as many of you know, honing my drag and aesthetic for the past year. The pandemic really came in handy. And there is this drag performer, Luca Me, who is amazing. If you don't know who Luca Me is, look them up. Amazing drag king here in Chicago. And Luke was looking for people to be a part of a show that may not want to be in a competitive sort of setting and just want to come and show their drag and do their thing. So I signed up for it, not intending to ever, I guess, get messaged back or be told like, oh yeah, you can come and do it. Like let's do your thing. But Luke did and was like, how does September 12th sound? And I said, perfect.
The day after
yeah,
9/11.
the day after 9/11. It's the perfect little pocket right there. It's the day after 9/11 and the day before a month long of me being 31. So it was the perfect moment for I was like, I'll remember that day.
Right.
So it was such a fun time. It was at Charlie's here in Chicago. So shout out to Charlie, shout out to Luke, shout out to the rest of the cast. They were all amazing. It was such a diverse cast. And if you want to see more photos and stuff like that, yeah, if you want to see more photos, go to adele.vice on Instagram. I've been posting. And Query It is happening every other Sunday at Charlie's. But come October, they'll be doing it every Sunday. So check that out. And it was such a fun time. I definitely am like an emotional little BD. Because like, oh my God, afterwards, so Jill threw an Edelweiss party and
she guzzied me up.
She really guzzied up her party, and it was all like Edelweiss themed. And of course I cried after some drinking, and then I came home that night and I cried for like an hour long. Because it's like one of those things. It's like it felt very natural. It felt very like I should be doing this. And it was so well received. Like, thank you. Like, you came out, AJ came out, Jill came out. So many people who I know and adore came out to support me and the rest of the performers. And I really appreciate, like, I felt so appreciated and loved.
Yeah. No, it was perfect. It was like,
it was nice.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like, it was like surrounded by people who love and support you. Everyone in the crowd was like cheering you on hardcore. Like,
I was surprised.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like, there were people there for obviously Edelweiss, but it was like a good turnout. There was a lot of people there. And
yeah,
I don't know, maybe I'm just a little biased here, but it did sound like you had the most applause here. I'm just saying. Actually, it's funny.
Well, you were
I was gonna say, it's funny because one of my friends, Heather, came out to see the show for you.
Yes.
And they actually were FaceTiming it to their partner Mike back at home.
Oh my God.
And I never told you this, but I guess when Mike was watching it and then they came home later, they're like, that was not Adele's first show. That can't be.
What?
No.
Stop.
Yeah. No, I'm not even joking. Like, they're like, that was so, he was like, I thought it was going to be like, honestly, I thought it was going to be like rough around the edges or awkward because it's the first time or whatever. Well, and he's like, no, like, Adele killed it. It seemed like they've been doing it for years. So, honey, you got even the straight boys complimenting you.
Thank you. Well, you know, that's
the goal.
That's the goal, to get guzzied by a straight boy. But no,
hey,
no, that's God, bleep that. No, I'm kidding. Keep it in. I want it in. No, I just think that like it's so nice because it's like people in person supporting me is an amazing feeling. But also just like all the support that I've received online has been really great too. And I just get like, I don't know. The pandemic maybe has made me more emotional. Maybe I've always just been an emotional person. But it was great. And I was able to hand out some stickers because I love
great
stickers.
Merch.
Yep. Edelweiss, always going to have the cute shit going on. So, and that's also a benefit, you know, when you're an illustrator like myself, I also can make my own merch. So works out perfectly. So I'm looking forward to, you know, doing more drag and getting out there and going to more drag events. And everyone was so lovely. And people, okay, here's my thing. People do not need to be nice. You know what I mean? Like, no one is like you. It's good to be nice. I think people should be nice. Yeah. But no one is like, oh, you have to be nice to others. You should be, but everyone in the cast was so sweet. And if I can be completely transparent, my forehead, it was like in the 80s that day. And I got in my lift and my poor forehead, these sweat, ladies and gentlemen, the sweat that was on my forehead. And then when I tried to dab the sweat off, just a chunk of makeup came off.
Yeah.
I was
It was hardly
literally
noticeable.
I was literally having a meltdown.
Literally.
And literally. And then I kept thinking like, okay, how can I save this? How can I save this? So I'm like in the dressing room and I'm like looking through. And of course, my dumbass, I brought my foundation. I brought some powders. Did I bring my eyeshadow palette? No. Why would I have done that? That makes too much sense. But I did have
Like to
some
live on the
liquid
edge.
eyeshadow that I was like, I was kind of like losing it. I was like, I have to be on time because I'm not on time for anything. But shout out, I tied for first place of getting there on time with another performer, Corn Chip. Check out Corn Chip. But yeah, I was like, I have to be on time. So I'm sitting there and I have this like liquid eyeliner, like shadow blue. And I'm like, maybe if I put like a line right here, it'll disguise the fact that half my eyebrow is off. And then I was like, maybe if it was messy. It was messy. It was not my best makeup. But I performed my ass off and I look forward to doing it more. And you know what's so funny? This is like, I know it's not meant to be shady. So I sent videos and stuff to my mom and dad and stuff. And my mom responded, I said, so what did you think? And she goes, it looked like you had the time of your life.
What does that mean?
Which I was like, okay, like,
right.
like not like, oh, you did great. Or like, I really liked this part. You look like you had fun. It's like how I read it. I know she didn't mean it that way, but I thought it was really funny.
It was just like I had the time of my life, like Dirty Dancing, like
yeah. But it was really fun. I'm already thinking of like new drag numbers to do. So if you're looking for someone who is a plump bearded queen here in Chicago, check out Adele Weiss. Well, I could talk about myself forever. So
I was gonna say it's been a long time coming. Like your drag has transformed so much over the pandemic. I mean, obviously it makes sense because like we have nothing else to do, but it's like, you know, you had like a good online following. It's finally time for the world to see what you're like on stage. You killed it. It was so amazing. I cannot wait to see more performances.
I had a couple reveals.
Couple? You had like 3 or like 4 or 5. Like, what are you talking about?
I know. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't I always say for a performance, you either you have to do the splits or a reveal, and I can't do the splits. So, mama, right. Watch out. We're revealing it all.
No, it was amazing. Go to Adele Weiss's Instagram page at adele.weiss. It's the only place where you can exclusively see both performances of the show. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty more coming your way.
Yes.
So get goozied up, honey.
Goozied?
My dog even was like, my dog is like, please stop saying
your dog's like, goozied? Now I feel like I need like I want a dog and I'm going to name it Goozied.
Goozied.
This is my dog, Goozy. Woof. And now on to the heart of our queer agenda today. We are going to be talking about all of the drag that is coming out in our society. You know, just a few years ago, people were saying that drag will never be mainstream. Actually, RuPaul said that. Well, drag has kind of become mainstream. And
because of RuPaul.
Because of RuPaul.
Right.
And so a lot of the RuPaul's Drag Race franchises have been coming out. And I don't know if it's because quarantine, we have more time to watch these things. But it's hitting international waters. So over the pandemic, we had Spain, we had Holland, we had Drag Race Down Under, we had Drag Race UK. They've just announced Drag Race Thailand. They just announced and Drag Race Philippines and also Drag Race Italy. And you know, there's rumors of possibly Drag Race Mexico in the next few years.
There's rumors of an all winners series coming up.
That's right. And Drag Race Canada. So it's literally just taken over everywhere on top of the US franchise itself.
which
So
has
today,
two different seasons of just a main
two,
season and an all-star
right,
season.
right. So today we are going to kind of catch up because we haven't talked since the All-Star 6 finale happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I have thoughts, I have feelings.
Yes.
And we'll kind of get into that. And then we'll kind of go through the rest of the different drag shows that are coming out on our television screens and
Mm-hmm.
where you can watch, where you can feast your eyeballs on these things.
Yeah.
And some of the
Well, first,
contestants.
before we get into that though, what would you say about all of this drag? What would you say like first thoughts that come to your head about all of this?
I have two thoughts. One,
Okay.
I'll never get a break from
Yeah.
watching. Like I'm always watching something. But
Yeah.
two, it does make me happy. Like it's like you ever hear that study where it's like if you watch the same thing over and over again, it's like comforting, it like helps your anxiety or whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
totally think that's true because like even though they're different franchises, it's pretty much the same setup. You get the challenge, you get the runway, you get some drama, you get some good looks, you get some funny, you get some heartwarming moments. So
Right.
it's always like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. It is hard to keep up with how many things are going on top of I've just been rewatching season 11 of Drag Race
Mm-hmm.
because
One that I
uh,
have on record have said before that I actually didn't like at first when I first initially watched it.
how many times have you watched it again?
I haven't yet. I want to give it another shot.
Okay. I upon rewatching, I feel like I was a little bit harsh towards some of the contestants my first watch through.
Mm-hmm. You can
Um
just say it's Silky.
yeah, Silky. So we can kind of tie into this, but I want to hear what you think. Do you think like what are your thoughts on all this drag?
Well, all this drag is kind of becoming a drag. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. Part of me loves it, like you said, because it's like, I mean, Drag Race has now become like a background show for me. Like I'm getting ready in the
mhm.
morning. I'm like have like old episodes playing on Hulu in the background. I'm not even paying attention to it. It's just like in the background. And it always keeps me interested. Like, I don't know, like I guess for straight people, they get sports 24 hours a day, like 365 days a year. There's always some sort of sport that they can watch. So I guess for us, it's just like Drag Race. Like, you know what I mean?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I was gonna say, in a way, it's just another form of just watching some sort of competition just to, I don't know, make yourself happy. I
Yeah.
don't know. The only other competitive reality show I watch is Big Brother, and they only show it in the summer. And I have not to been casted on that goddamn show, so I have something else to look forward to.
Manifest. Manifest.
I've been trying. It's probably because I'm 30. They're just like, you're old. You're old, grandma. No.
Oh, that's not old.
Anyway, let's get into All Star 6 because we did talk
Yes.
about the premiere episode and our initial thoughts of it, but let's get a wrap up of what I'm going to say is probably one of the best All Stars ever. Nothing can top
Yeah.
All Stars 2, but I think All Star 6 is like pretty close.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed All-Star 6.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it.
I would say, like, for me, the main theme of All Star 6, which is something that I really like, that I feel like was kind of missed in a few other seasons, is like everyone had a redemption arc in some sort of way. Even if like
Mhm.
you went out early, like if you were Silky, who like, technically placed 12th, she had a whole episode dedicated to herself about like slaying like 6+ lip syncs in a row.
Yes, yes.
The top four, I was so happy with. For the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the top four was Kylie, Ginger, Raja, and Eureka. In a
Mhm.
perfect world for me, I would have had Trinity in place of Eureka, but I'm not really mad about that. That was just the twist of the game here.
Mhm.
But yeah, every single person in there, I walked away with being like, I actually like almost all of them more than I did before.
Yeah, it was nice to see because like on other all-star seasons there are queens that walk in and they expect to have some sort of redemption arc or they expect to really show their stuff, and I would say for almost every single person it made me go, okay, well, work, like you're actually doing a really good job. And the the one or two people that I was like, oh, whatever. You know what? Good for you. You got on TV and you did your thing and you made a good TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that definitely, we talk about redemptions. Silky, my God, the lip syncs were so much fun.
Oh my
Like,
God, so much
it
fun.
was so much fun. Like, I was a total like Silky, I don't want to say hater, but I was like I did not like her.
Yeah.
In season 11. And I can't help but think that like a lot of my feelings came from going out in Chicago, and she was like not on great terms with a lot of the
Anyone?
people, anyone in Chicago. She kind of was you know ruffling some feathers. And then you get on the show and she's loud and she's brash and she's saying shady things about other people in the confessionals, mainly Evie Oddly. And
Who was a fan favorite?
who was a fan favorite. So it's just like rubbing people the wrong way. Upon rewatching season 11, I don't know if I just like missed it, but there's like a lot of moments where she acknowledges that she's loud. Her and Evie make up, and there's like like there really is not the level of drama that the fandom, quote unquote fandom, brings, and the hate that it brings online. Like, it's just so unnecessary and so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So when she came back for All Star 6, I was like, I am not a fan. I do not. Why is she here? Like, but then she yeah, she went home third, but getting to come back and show why she was in the competition, how good of a lip syncer she is, how entertaining she is, entertaining TV. It kind of made me sad that she didn't like,
I know
she wasn't on the show more. I was so impressed, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna eat humble pie. I was wrong about her.
Yeah.
She completely changed my opinion. And same goes for like Eureka. I did not care for Eureka season 10. I
Oh
just
God,
thought that,
no. I
yeah,
thought she was so annoying in season 10.
I
And
just felt
then
like she was annoying and got into people's business. But it really felt like, she has learned, she's grown. And I think that's a good part about watching Drag Race All Stars, is seeing these performers grow from their previous season
oh
and
yeah.
kind of figure out like, okay, this is how TV works.
Yeah.
This is
Well, let's just
how
talk
dealing
about
with
our
others
winner.
work.
Let's
Yeah,
just talk
let's
about our
do it.
winner.
Let's do it.
Kylie Sonique Love. Like, originally was on season 2. I think they went home like what, third or something like that. It was like really
Yeah, it
early
was
in the
pretty
competition.
early. Mm-hmm.
And like you would just think that like someone like that at such an early season who was an early boot, that they just kind of like disappear into obscurity, and you're just like, well,
Right.
you had your 15 minutes here.
Mm-hmm.
Completely wrong here. Kylie, was it on the season 2 reunion, came out as transgender, that they were actually
Yes.
transitioning. And I think that started like this fantastic storyline of like, oh my God, they're back like 11 years later. Look how fantastic they
Mm-hmm.
are now. Not that they weren't great before, but like how more
But she's
confident they
like,
are in their
yeah,
skin.
she's
Yeah.
like living authentically as herself.
Yeah.
And, let's just say it. Drag Race and RuPaul have not always been known
Been
to be the
kind.
kindest when it comes to trans performers, especially trans women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you're wondering what we're talking about, do a Google search. It's not that hard to find. So some would argue like it's producer shenanigans. I don't think it is. I think that Kylie has worked her ass off. I think that she's been continuing to just like be a superstar outside of this show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just like so satisfying to see someone go from like an early out, kind of like, you would think a nobody, to come
Right.
back in and just completely kill the competition, be so sweet and so
Mm-hmm.
kind. And like, you don't have to win by being this like big, loud personality. You can be like a sweet person and authentically yourself and really own your flaws and make them not like beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so happy that Kylie won
Oh
our
yeah.
first trans winner on the US franchise, because season 2 of Drag Race Thailand did crown a trans woman as their winner.
Okay.
So, but different
Well,
production companies, so that's obviously going to be a little bit different. But
right.
I'm hoping that this will kind of open the door to being like, see, we can have trans women on the show
Yeah.
and perform, and like it's just as valid. All drag is valid.
Right. Well, it's funny now that you're thinking about that, or now that you're saying this, I'm actually kind of like thinking of like why I didn't really like season 11 to begin with. And I feel
Mhm.
like at the time, like it was like what, 2 years ago that that show aired? Like at that point,
2019. Mhm.
yeah, at that point, like a lot of the people in the world like kind of knew what drag was about at that time. And we were seeing in real time of how many, like in the Chicago drag scene, of like how expansive it's gotten. Like we have so many things like bearded queens, trans kings, everything like that. I felt like season 11 almost felt like a little outdated already because it was just a
Mhm.
traditional format of most people presenting as cis men. And it was just like, I don't know, it got kind of boring at that point. So it's like, okay, we need to like do something to shake it up here. Now we
Mhm.
have like, last season on season 13, we had Got Mick, we have Kylie. I feel like the show is finally now actually meeting where the culture is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's starting to
Well,
catch up.
it's getting there. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping in one season there's just going to be all non-binary, trans inclusive, drag kings, queens, whatever. Like just
Just like,
break down.
because it's not drag queen race, it's drag race. So like
Right.
I would love to see
Oh,
like trans kings or just like other people like that.
and this is also the first season that they completely changed the main theme song that has been the same for 13
Right,
years.
right, because it used to be may the best woman win, and now it's may the best drag queen win. Which, like,
Hmm.
yeah, that progress. We love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it was season 13 that they did the may the best drag queen win. Um, but I'm glad they continue that into the All Stars 6 format, and
Right.
I hope that they continue to do that. I think didn't they do that on Drag Race UK season 2?
Yep. Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
speaking
so
of which, let's just
let's
go down
do
the line
it.
here. We have a lot of drag to talk about here. So
Let's do it.
I'm going to give All Star 6 4.5 out of 5 stars, in my opinion. I thought it was a really fun season.
I'll give it like a 4.7.
Okay.
A 4.7 from the German judge.
Sure. Sure. Um, Eurovision.
Yeah, yeah.
So UK 3, which I feel like UK 2 like just ended like 2 weeks ago.
A couple months
But
ago, yeah.
yeah, UK season 3 is premiering next week, and we
Mm-hmm.
have a whole new group of drag queens. We do have, what is her name again? Veronica returning
I
from
believe
season
it's
2.
Veronica Green. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like that. You're like, what's her name?
Right. I'm like, what?
Vernacular.
Right. I'm
What's
like,
her
what's her name?
vernacular?
And
Yeah,
Priyanka somewhere is in Canada. Like, what's my name?
Priyanka. Yeah, yeah.
We also have
Um,
Victoria, who,
yeah. I was gonna say Victoria Scone
mm-hmm.
is the first cis woman to be on Drag Race performing in drag. So that's a huge step because like I've seen people post about this. I think that if you've been to the clubs or any drag spaces in the past decade, this isn't that unusual to see someone who is a cis woman performing in female presenting drag or femme
Mm-hmm.
presenting drag. So it's again the show catching up to the culture that it is supposed to be highlighting.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
very excited about Victoria. I followed her during the pandemic. I found her. She popped up in my like For You page, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I love her. So I'm so excited for her to be on this next season of Drag Race UK.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But there is some
there's a
controversy
handful.
behind it.
Okay, well, what's the controversy?
Well, one, there is controversy about the casting itself because I don't think there are many people of color on the UK list, if I remember.
No, yeah.
Yeah, which, that's a whole discussion in itself here. The problem that I'm having is the fact that all these cast releases keep happening like one after the other here. I can't remember anybody like on who's who.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, but there are some rumors thrown around here, and I don't know if you want me to spoil any of these or just keep
Well,
them to
you know, how
myself.
big are the spoilers? Like,
Well,
what kind
it's
of
not,
spoiler are you
I wouldn't
saying?
say spoilers, but I would say speculations and rumors and theories and hypotheses.
Okay, well, we can, as a science classes, you
Yeah.
start with a hypothesis, and then we do an experiment. So then we'll find out if it is true.
Yeah.
So what are your findings? What are your hypotheses? What have you heard on the come on, be the bone collector. What bones have you collected?
Right.
Let's
So
hear it.
this is all from RuPaul's Reddit page that I follow.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's just like, you kind of have to like take it with a grain of salt here because
Sure.
yeah. But so apparently Veronica, no, yeah. Yeah, Veronica, the one who went home last season because she tested positive for COVID, apparently is an early out again this season.
Okay.
Which I can't really remember if I even liked Veronica. I remember she did well in the Rats musical. Um, that's it. That's all I remember
Yeah,
her for.
I mean, I remember right before she left, they did like a monster mashup runway, and she like had such a good runway. She did not do well in the challenge. And I remember their like little Untucked moment, and she was like, you all like need to watch out for me. And I felt like, okay, she might be getting the villain edit, which I was like, lean into it. Like, if you want to be a villain, be a villain.
Villains make it
And
fun.
yeah, and then she went home. So I don't know, maybe she'll come back, maybe she'll be another villain. This is all speculation
Yeah.
and rumors.
And then there is a rumor that an apparent fan favorite, they couldn't disclose who, but a fan favorite actually injures themselves and goes home early. Like, apparently one of the challenges.
Interesting.
Like, it's one that like people are just like, they're like, oh, we could see them as a contender. Apparently they like broke their foot on the runway or something like that,
Oh,
and
geez.
and so they could have to get sent home. So I'm just like, God damn it. Oh my God, what if the twist is that Veronica comes back after like having to go home early last year and then she breaks her fucking foot?
She breaks her foot. Oh my God. Well,
Veronica's
iconic.
gonna be on 4, 5, 6.
Wouldn't that be funny? It's just like she comes back every single season but she never wins. Always the bridesmaid, never the winner.
Because something happens.
Something terrible happens. Yeah, I'm excited to see. There's like 3 performers that I am familiar with. Charity Case, who's kind of like a little avant-garde, weird, monstery. They were featured in a Vogue video of like Charity Case gets ready, and that's how I saw them. So I was like, okay, work, that's interesting. They're
off the cuff drag.
Yeah, love it. Obviously Victoria Scone, been following her, would love to see her do really well. And then there's another performer, Theresa May, who she's originally from Spain, I believe, but has been like living in England for the past couple of years, or the UK rather. And I found out who she was because I had followed her as an illustrator, because she had been doing all this like drag based illustrations, and it's like very kind of cool and geometric-y looking. And so I'd followed that for years, since like season 9 or 10 of Drag Race US. So when she was like, hey, I got on the show as my drag persona, I was like, wait, you have a drag persona? So I went to her page and I was like, oh, well, there you go. So like those 3 I'm fairly familiar with.
And I'm very excited for the season in general, actually.
Yeah, it does feel like we just had Drag Race UK season 2. So I do kind of feel bad that like Lawrence Chaney hasn't had like a full year to reign. But we'll see. I mean, I follow all the queens on
does
Instagram.
Does that mean like UK series 2 actually was more delayed than anything because of COVID? Like
it must have been, because they had to take what, 6 months off?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Well, I will say this. If it's anything like season 2, which for me is like, it goes down in history as like one of the best seasons ever. It's so high energy, like crazy fun. Everything that you just love about drag.
There's drama. It's good looks. It's great.
Yeah. If it's anything like season 2, I'll probably end up liking it, though it does have some huge shoes to fill. Am I saying any of these phrases correct today?
No, yeah, huge shoes to fill. Goozied up.
Goozied up and untucked.
Goozied up and untucked. Yes. Well, that's something to look forward to. Another cast announcement that I'm looking forward to is Dragula season 4. Very excited about that.
Which is great because I just got a Shudder account, so I'm very excited.
Oh my God. Well, I'll be coming over to watch it with you. Um, I I love Dragula. We've talked about it on the show before. And I'm excited for the cast announcement was great. There's a handful that I'm very excited for. Maria Cherie
And
from
surprises.
Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Some surprises. Sigourney Beaver, who I first saw years ago here in Chicago at Berlin. Um, Love her. I'm very excited. Go Sigourney Beaver. Um,
They were
and
one of the first drag performers that you actually talked about to me because when we went out to Berlin, and we saw Kimchi perform, there was a poster on the wall advertising for Sigourney. I think for like a
really.
similar show. And you point out, it's just like, oh, like I love this show. Sigourney Beaver's part of it. You were telling me all about them. I was just like, oh, and this is still like Iowa, Josh. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh. But yes, I'm very
Oh,
excited for them.
yeah, excited. I'm excited for Saint, who came back because of Dragula Resurrection, which was like them basically working their way back into the competition. So there's a handful that I'm really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is also someone I am not excited about.
Oh.
And so if you don't want to hear some anti-trans comments,
Oh.
go ahead and fast forward like 5 minutes because I don't want to spend that much time on this person.
And it's not let's disclaimer, it's not because of Kyle saying anti-trans comments. It's actually because
Oh
of
my
the
God,
person.
no.
Yes.
The person, yeah. So let me just say the name, Bitter Betty. And that name, honey, could not be more accurate for how she's been acting on Twitter. Some people just should not have a Twitter account. It's just not cute.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know who Bitter Betty is, she's formerly known as Sarah Andrews, and she's lived in Chicago for years. And I remember seeing her back in like 2011, 2012 when I would go out to the clubs. And she's very like pageanty. She also started a wig company called 1-800-Wigs Takeout,
Mm-hmm.
which we were there for the release party at Berlin and Chicago. Josh danced with a giant takeout box.
I
And
did.
looking back though, that like she's a white person. So now I'm like, this is sort of, I don't know, questionable that she's using
But hey,
Asian things.
I reclaimed it in the name of my brothers and sisters here. I took on that takeout box and I danced all night with it. So
Now that would be a cute look.
yeah.
It'd be a cute look, but also like it's just such a weird thing and she's continued this wig company. So over the pandemic, she's rebranded herself as Bitter Betty. Now she's always been very vocal online about being anti RuPaul, about anti World of Wonder, who produces Drag Race, and their transphobia and anti-transness that they have had. And sure, they have had that,
That's valid,
but
yeah.
over the past like few months, um, things have gotten weird. It's getting weird, in the words
Mm-hmm.
of Nene Leakes. Also, rest in peace, Greg Leakes. He died of colon cancer a few weeks ago. Very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, for all my Real Housewives of Atlanta fans. Um, so if anyone knows, do you know who Buck Angel is?
Mm-mm.
So Buck Angel is a
Oh,
trans man who is also like a adult performer. And he's called like he's branded himself as Transpa, like or Papa Trans or something like that. Like he's a little bit older. But recently, if you are living under a rock, you may not have heard, but most people have heard about the anti-abortion bill that was passed in Texas.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have been saying, when we're talking and discussing abortion rights, we need to be inclusive in our language, that yes, it does affect women, but it also affects trans men. It also affects non-binary people. So, we need to be aware of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Buck tweeted and said, FYI, only biological women need an abortion. Trans men are biological women. Call it what it's like because it's still all about biology. And Bitter Betty retweeted that and said, I see a lot of people retweeting this as if it's a bad take. It's literally the truth. Y'all gotta stop trying to deny science. These baby Tiesler are practically flat earthers, it seems. Y'all look stupid. And she goes on to say, denying facts like this isn't validating your gender. It's simply making us look crazy. As a Tiesler woman, I am biologically a man. That's a fact. I transitioned and live as a woman, but I will always be biologically male. That's just a scientific fact, yo. Deal with it. So she was cast on Dragula season 4. So hopefully that will shut her up for not being on any competition shows. And it kind of makes me go like, you know what? Maybe the reason you weren't cast on Drag Race is less to do with your gender identity and more to do with you being a fucking crazy person. You ever think about that,
and a
Bitter
hateful
Betty?
person.
And a hateful person. Like, get your shit together. I mean, it's not completely shocking because her behavior is so unhinged. Like, truly an unhinged person. She's also gone and, but okay, the cat
even
is
Evie's upset.
Even Evie the cat is wailing. Princess of Wales over here. So she
that was good.
I can't take that. Assistant Brandon says it all the time.
Oh.
Princess of Wales. A little royal kitty over here. But Bitter Betty, here's the thing. I hope she's an early out. I hope the rest of the cast just does not like her. She
and it's always interesting too. Oh, I was gonna say it's also interesting too because it's kind of like in season 12 when we had like a real life villain, Sherry Pie, to like root against and like actively hate against. It's like it's basically just Bitter Betty now. Like,
yeah,
I don't even care if they do well on the show. I actively want something to harm them or have them disqualified or something.
Like, it's just so like, you know, she has these terrible takes. She went after a performer here in Chicago, Irregular Girl, who is also a trans woman, and she went after her about being a trans woman and being like, you're not a woman. Like, just crazy shit. And you know, if I hate when people use the term like, oh, I've used science to back this up, because if you actually did your research, you would know that scientists have said, yeah, it really is not just chromosomes that we're dealing with here, biology. You can't use that as an excuse to be anti-trans towards people, because we have so many variants in gender and in biology. It's a false claim. It's a really weak argument. And what's dangerous, what truly is dangerous about Bitter Betty's stance is these kind of anti-trans ideas and how it's biology and stuff like that was taught to me 13, 15 years ago at my Lutheran high school.
I was gonna say, all it does is just reiterate all of the horrible anti-trans narrative that cishet people tend to try to use to justify their hateful behavior.
Right. So I'm hoping Bitter Betty is an early out. She also made a big deal because her husband, who is a trans man, was upset because someone had asked him what are his pronouns. And like, I just feel like
upset that they asked, or
upset that they asked, as if it was like, oh, you're being clockable or something like that. And I feel like in this day and age, asking someone's pronouns, especially in certain more liberal circles, is not that unusual. It's not even that you're clocking someone for being trans or non-binary or whatever. It's just like, people are trying to normalize it, because you could look at someone and say like, oh, that's definitely someone who uses he, him pronouns, but that's not always the case. So you should
say, if anything, it's a sign of respect to just be like,
it's just a sign of respect. But she made a big deal, and she said that non-binary people, I'm paraphrasing now, because I don't really care to go to Bitter Betty's Twitter, but she
block her, sis.
Well, I do like to see her crazy ass. But she basically insinuated that non-binary people do not fall under the trans umbrella and that they're harming the trans community.
How?
I don't
how
know.
bitter? How bitter, Betty?
I have no idea. But you know,
Oh,
so that's one take. I don't want to spend too much more time on her, but that's one take about the Dragula cast. Another take that is a little unfortunate is, while it's great that we have trans representation and I guess AFAB representation on this cast of Dragula, there's no kings. There's no
yeah.
drag kings,
Which is
which,
weird
you know,
because the season 3 they crowned a drag king. So you
exactly.
would think that
So,
I don't know, whatever.
and there's plenty of drag kings out there that could compete, but hey, who knows? Maybe there's a twist. Maybe someone will be coming in. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know. Well,
I don't
it's
know.
just interesting. It's interesting too because it's like casting has such a huge deal with like how the season itself is going to even be remembered in people's minds. I feel
Oh
like
yeah. Oh yeah.
so it's just like this one kind of already has a sour taste in its mouth, like in terms of like who was
Mhm.
announced. So I'm just like, let's hope. Let's just hope that something happens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope something good happens.
Yeah,
Um.
Jay
So
Julie's gonna be on.
that's what's that's true. Jay Jolie. Which, did you hear about the drama with that?
No, oh God, what now?
Okay. Well, here we go. Another trigger warning.
Oh
Um.
God, was she being
So
fatphobic again? Back rolls.
no. This one has to deal with Nazis.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
We're
yes, 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 yes.
yeah. So years ago, Jay Jolie was in a porn where she dressed as a Nazi. What am I talking? Like, why? These sentences
As
are
I was gonna say,
crazy.
these sentences are so insane. She was featured in a porno where she was dressed up as a Nazi soldier.
Like, insane. So I mean, she has since apologized. I don't know that much of the details about it, but like, my God, the controversy now.
Right.
Um,
God,
yeah. So
Jade. And no
so
offense, but
between
that face, like she should also apologize for that.
oh, the
I'm
library is open, I guess. My goodness. The
well,
library
it's
is
just
open and I didn't think you could read. I don't
I'm
know what Iowa
I'm
schools taught you.
I'm the illiterate Kate Winslet stuck in the Nazi camp that Jay Jolie was in for the porno.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me just say, let me go on record and say, I always thought you were going to be the one to be canceled before me.
Hey.
I always say cancel job. No. Yeah, no, Jade, it will be interesting. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. This
We'll
one is
see
gonna
what
be one where
happens.
like I just walk in, kind of be like, all right.
Like, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. So we've gone through, let's see, we've untucked about All-Star 6 and Kylie Sonique Love winning.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Drag Race season 3 of UK. We've talked
Dragula
about
season 4.
Dragula season 4, and we've recently have Drag Race Canada
Season
announced
2. Yes, that
season
was
2.
released yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time of
I'm
recording, it
overwhelmed.
was
I'm
released
overwhelmed.
yesterday. It's overwhelming. I like Drag Race Canada. I feel like they're friendly.
It's messy. It's fun and messy. Like the first season of Canada's Drag Race, it was kind of messy in the sense that like you could tell that the budget obviously like wasn't compared to like the polishedness of
Sure.
the US, which in some ways actually made it more fun because it's just like, oh
Mhm.
my God, this is just more off the cuff and crazy. Um, the judges table is insane because like two of the judges that were on last year are now no longer part of it. It's just now Brooklyn Heights
Yeah.
and two other people. Which is funny. Two
And
other
two
people
other people.
and two other people I don't actually know. But it's just I don't know. What I like about Canada season 2 or Canada's Drag Race in general is like it seems like it's like the messy cousin that just kind of shows up every once in a while. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, like oh
They
my God,
they show up in their flannel and
hey,
they're like Canadian oh, well, you said messy cousin. Um they show
fair.
up in their flannel and their like beer and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? What you about to do? I can't do a Canadian accent.
Canceled.
They're like Toronto, eh? They're like it's like New York, but not. Oh, sorry. Um I don't know. That's my Canada.
I was gonna say, can you just go on Snatch Game pretending to be Brooklyn Heights? Like,
I'll go on Snatch Game doing Brooklyn Heights as Celine Dion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah. God, that rewatching it was even worse than watching it before. It was bad.
Know.
It was bad.
Poor Brooklyn.
But she's doing fine. What else is happening in the Drag Race España aired? I watched the first episode, loved it, did not watch the rest, don't know why. I very much enjoyed it.
So I don't follow Drag Race Holland, which, I mean, maybe I should have done more research.
Yeah, Drag Race Holland, they're currently doing a season, and I haven't watched any of that.
I haven't either, but did you hear about the drama that happened?
No.
Apparently, one of the contestants snuck a cell phone in, like, during the, and they
Wait,
got
where
caught.
did she hide it?
There are many places you can hide it, but apparently they got caught on the main stage. Like, they were called out. Yeah, I know.
Okay, now I need to watch. Well, it's all on Wow Presents Plus,
which Kyle has a subscription to. If you want that, DM Kyle for all the details.
Yeah, and you can DM me for other things too, like, dates and things like that. Any hole's a goal, according to Aquaria.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of drag we just untucked.
It is. There's a lot, yeah. And I will probably openly admit, I will probably I'll watch all of it, to be honest. Yeah. How invested I'll be in all of them, I don't know. It is hard to invest in two shows that are showing at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, the fact that Canada and UK are premiering at the similar time, like that alone is like, oh, okay.
Well, did UK already start?
No, UK starts next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah,
they must have just had like a thing. I saw like runways,
maybe a meet the queens or something.
Something.
But I don't know, like, because in a way, it's still all under Ru's umbrella. Besides Dragula, like a lot of these are still under Ru's umbrella, and you would think that like Ru would be like, oh, maybe we should try to space this out even a little bit further apart here. But hey, they want that money.
I guess the fracking really isn't cutting it. So she had to look for another natural resource, which was the natural talent of these contestants.
That was cute. That was very cute.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, we unpacked, we untucked, and we goozied down from a lot of drag talking here.
Yeah. Hopefully it didn't drag along.
Well, you know what? Is that like in 2 weeks, like season 14 of Drag Race here is going to be like announced somehow. Like, it's just going to be like something.
Oh my God.
Right.
That's true. You're probably not wrong.
Yeah. So I guess where should we go from here with all of this?
Well, where can people find us, Josh?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I guess it is the wrap up here. Where can people find us? It's been a long time. I'm sorry. It's been a long time.
You had your Kyle sponsored monster drink. You should be. Oh, look at you. I almost finished my Trenta.
It's actually pretty. It actually has kept me pretty wired up this entire time. Anyway,
what does it taste like? Battery acid?
No, well, kind of like blue Gatorade and battery acid, basically. Like, it has like that.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Oh, monster!
Monster! Anyway,
punch a wall.
You can find us on all social media platforms as @FearTheQueer_podcast. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. The Twitter's pretty empty here. But you can find us all at oh my God, I can't even say it. Talk anymore. It's the monster.
You're like, you can find us all on I need to punch a wall.
I do.
This monster is flowing through my veins.
I need to find Bitter Betty and just punch them in the stomach.
Oh God. Oh my God. We should not promote All right. Well, this is celebrity fight. We'll do a celebrity fight.
There we go.
We have to find
Euthanasia versus Bitter Betty.
I will be the ringmaster. No, not the ringmaster. The one that walks around the ring.
Oh, it's like the ringleader.
The ring. I don't know what it's called. I don't.
We're two idiots. Yeah.
I don't do forts. I don't do sports. I was gonna say fights and sports, and that came out. I don't do forts.
We don't do forts. Anyway, where can people contact us, Kyle?
The best way to contact us is usually on our Instagram. Just slide into our DMs. We love when people slide into our DMs. You can also message us on Facebook. We do not check our email very well. We're not very good about checking the email. So if you
No.
send us an email, don't do
Just
that.
don't.
Don't do that.
Bitter Betty,
Don't
like,
do
actually
that.
sends us an email just being like, what you said was really hurtful. And we never say it.
I'm like, I don't, you know what?
Right.
No.
Right. And as always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're
We're
Fear the
Fear the
Queer.
Queer. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Gussied.
Goosied.
Goosied.
I'm not gonna
Goosied
lie,
up.
like that monster like really threw me. Like I'm just kind of
Did it
like
throw
sitting here
you?
like, yeah, I'm just like